This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Drivers love to hate them. Tonight, we've learned those controversial red light and speed cameras that used to be in St. Louis could return. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. St. Louis city leaders will soon file a bill that would pave the way for automated law enforcement to return to the city streets. Our Christine Byers was there for the announcement and is live in St. Louis to explain what this could mean for drivers. Christine.
Mike and Ann, if all goes well through the legislative process and this bill does take effect, it'll be about a year before those cameras start capturing red light runners and speeders in the city of St. Louis. And this time around, the cameras are going to be capturing a lot more than just license plates. It's been about 8 years since red light cameras and speed cameras disappeared from St. Louis streets and most Missouri thoroughfares. That's when the Supreme Court found it was unconstitutional to ticket car owners without proving they were the ones who committed the violations.
When I first got elected many years ago, was very happy when the Supreme Court struck down Missouri's law enabling the red light cameras.
Now, Alderman Shane Cohn is leading an effort to bring cameras back. This time, they will have to capture a driver's face in order for the violations to hold up in court.
We also are introducing companion bills that address surveillance, security, data collection, and other components that are important and vital components to our civil liberties here in the city of St. Louis.
Specifics like where the cameras will be and who will manage them are also unclear. Here's how Mayor Tashara Jones responded when asked how the city will ensure these fines do not disproportionately affect non-white drivers.
Well, we can't initially, but we have to start somewhere.
Critics of automated enforcement have long said governments only use them to make money. Board of Aldermen President Megan Green and Cohn say that's not going to be the case for St. Louis.
There is just not enough resources, money, etc., for putting speed humps on every single street in the city of St. Louis.
They say the money will not go into the city's general fund. Instead, it will only pay for a traffic safety improvement fund that Cohn says will
fund programs, as the president mentioned, devoted towards driver's education, devoted towards improvement of infrastructure in our neighborhood streets that often see these types of incidents occur.
Now, TrailNet, which is an organization that advocates for cyclists, also was advocating for this legislation to pass, and they noted that Hannibal, Missouri is the only community in the state that still uses these cameras. Now, to see if researchers think that these cameras actually impact traffic safety, check out my story on KSTK.com. Live in downtown St. Louis, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
Illinois courts ushered in a new era without cash bail today. In St. Clair County, one courtroom converted into space for detention hearings. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, was there to monitor the changes in the criminal justice system. Mark?
Mike, the first day without cash bail got off to a rather slow, inauspicious start in St. Clair County. Chief Judge Andrew Gleason compared it to the eye of the storm.
The first round of initial appearance court hearings lasted roughly an hour Monday morning on the 4th floor of the St. Clair County Courthouse.
We're just working through the process, the procedure. We have a plan in place. Obviously, we expected there to be some kinks. We're working through those.
A judge assigned several new cases to public defender Kathy McElroy, whose office is already drowning in paperwork.
Today, what I realized is that I definitely need more lawyers. We're definitely short-staffed.
And starting Tuesday, McElroy and the other 5 full-time defense attorneys on her staff will start advocating for the courts to release defendants held in jail who couldn't afford to post bond. Her office compared notes with the state's attorney and came up with a rough outline of defendants who might not require a hearing to get out.
It appears that there's going to be approximately 150 people that are eligible for release. And I mean, when I say eligible, I mean they are charged with non-detainable offenses.
Republican lawmakers repeated their concerns the changes would backfire.
Illinois begins its ill-advised experiment, and it becomes the first state in the nation to completely eliminate cash bail in exchange for a system that promises to be more fair. But fair for who? Because it's certainly not fair for our county court systems.
State Senator Terry Bryant used to work for the state prison system and argued taking bail out of the equation could come with a cost.
Defunding our courts, limiting victim services, and making law-abiding citizens pay for criminals' bail with their taxes is just not justice.
But in one of the counties with the most severe poverty in the state, judges and public defenders alike said political rhetoric has been largely overblown.
There wasn't a massive jailbreak, and people don't have to be afraid. All this really does is it guarantees due process for people and make sure they get in front of a judge, and a judge decides if they should be held or released. This doesn't mean that everybody's getting out or that people should be afraid that there's going to be violent criminals roaming the streets of Illinois.
The prosecutor's office declined to comment. The only people let out of jail today were people charged with misdemeanors who would have been released under the old bond system anyways. We could see as many as 30 people released after their in-person detention hearing starting tomorrow.
Tonight, thousands of auto workers remain on the picket line as they demand higher wages and other benefits from the big three automakers. Workers want a more than 40% pay raise, along with a 32-hour work week and traditional pensions. 5 on your side, Diamond Palmer is live at the GM plant in Wentzville. That is one of 3 plants across the country right now where workers are striking for the 4th day. Diamond.
Well, and the City of St. Louis Board of Aldermen joined these people for the UAW strike on picket lines last night. And today, the latest person to join is House Representative Sarah Unsicker. She was talking to many of these people at Gate 4 right behind me about what it's like to be on these picket lines and hold them. Now, Representative Unsicker represents St. Louis County and St. Louis City, and she responded to news of Ford laying off 500 workers at a plant in Michigan because there was no work for them because of this strike. She said it's too bad that management is willing to let those sacrifices happen. And when she spoke to people at this picket line at Gate 4, she talked with them about the impact of striking and what it can do to people's finances. She wants state and local leaders to know if they can't join this line, think about donating household goods to ease this financial burden.
It's a very unselfish thing for them to be out striking. You know, they could be in there making their regular paycheck and working, but they're going to face economic damage for striking.
Now, workers here on these picket lines will receive about $500 per week in strike pay, but many of them tell me that it's not even half of what they would be receiving if they were out working at this plant here in Wentzville. And earlier, when we talked to the mayor of Wentzville, he says once again today he will join these people at the picket line because that's how he wants to show his support. And what he wants to say to the big three automakers is he hopes that all of this is resolved in a timely manner. If not, he's afraid it could affect the economy right here in town. Reporting live in Wentzville, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
Here's a closer look at the negotiations. One of the primary sticking points continues to be salary. The union has asked for a 40% raise over 4 years, with 20% of that immediately. The automakers have made 4 offers, but only agreed to half, so 20% raises with 10% right away.
U.S. Steel is temporarily idling Furnace B at the Granite City Steel Plant in response to the United Auto Workers strike. It's not clear how many workers will be affected. United Steelworkers 1899 President Dan Simmons estimates as many as 350 of the plant's 1,300 employees could be laid off. Simmons also pointed out U.S. Steel had already had plans to shut down furnaces at the Granite City plant before the strike started. A company spokesperson estimates that the layoffs will last less than 6 months.
A live look at Busch Stadium where history could be made tonight. In less than an hour, Adam Wainwright will take the mound and try for win number 200.
He's running out of chances and is facing the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. Sports director Frank Cusimano joins us now with what could be a great night.
So it took him 12 tries to get to victory number 199, but Adam Wainwright doesn't have that kind of time to get to 200. He likely has 2 more starts after this one tonight. So why waste time? Just beat the Brewers, who you've beaten 21 times in the past, this evening. Now, Wainwright does have some momentum, and I believe I have not been able to say that all season long. He was good against the Orioles last week. The bullpen will have to be big tonight. I asked the closer, Ryan Helsley, who's been great, what it would mean to him to close it out for Waino.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure. Definitely be a part of his career and his legacy, and to be able to say that I was there, and that'd be special.
What has he meant to you in your career? How's he helped?
Yeah, Waino's been great. He's been a father figure for this clubhouse for many years, and he's led a lot of young guys, throughout the years to good careers. And
since Helsley has returned from injury, the Cardinals have been very careful about using him in back-to-back games, and he did pitch yesterday. But he hasn't pitched much lately. I think he could take the ball tonight. Let's hope he gets the chance.